So I just came across a video about Meghan using a surrogate to have her children, Archie and Lilibet. I've heard these before, but it seems like there's been an uptick in this surrogacy rumor, especially since Meghan did that viral twerking video. Remember that viral twerking video she did earlier in the summer, late spring, something like that. And so I've been hearing all these you know, videos sort of just coming in my feed. I mean, I've been ignoring them, haven't really been paying attention to them. But today I thought, oh, that's not stopping. I mean, what's going on here? These are debunked rumors, but still, like surrogacy, to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a legal process, right? And, very strong privacy protections, of course, especially for high profile individuals like Harry and Meghan, but it still has its limits. I mean, if somebody has used a surrogate to have a child, there's a paper trail, there's proof. There are going to be contracts, there are going to be court orders, there are going to be parental recognition, parental orders to transfer legal custody and parenthood from the birth mother to, the quote unquote surrogate parents or adopted parents, whatever that would be called. There are legal, um, there are legal parameters. I mean, you can't just, you know, hire a surrogate and that's it, right? So apparently there's this woman who is saying that she has all these paperwork and contracts with Harry and Meghan and this, that, and the third. But it's just like, in the Daily Mail and different publications, that they've repeated this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I don't look in the UK, to my understanding, commercial surrogacy is is not even legal, because Meghan had Archie in the UK. Commercial surrogacy in the UK, to my understanding, is not even legal, right? Now, it's true that it's not legal to sort of pay someone money to have children for you beyond their reasonable expenses, right, in the UK, but that you could use a surrogate and pay them just reasonable expenses. But who's going to just be a surrogate for altruistic reason for a complete stranger, especially members of the British royal family? It's just like ridiculous, right? Um, that said, normally, and correct me if I'm wrong, the surrogate would be the legal mother at birth, right? And the intended parents would have to then transfer parenthood and legal custody to themselves after they compensate her. But again, in the UK, this is illegal beyond, her medical expenses. So Archie was born in the UK. So right out of the starting block, I don't know what they're talking about. In the US, I think surrogacy laws, correct me if I'm wrong, are different in every state. They vary in every state, right? So California, where Lilibet was born, does offer surrogacy with very sort of well-established, legal frameworks, right? If Harry and Meghan had used a surrogate for Lilibet, there would typically be, I mean, and they didn't, okay? But I'm just saying, if they had, this woman is alleging that, she has contracts from them and got paid by them or whatever, according to certain YouTubers out there. They typically would be contracts, there'd be medical records and, court orders, I'm assuming, to establish parentage, right? Would that necessarily be public record? No, because, the privacy rights in these kinds of circumstances are very strong, but a party would have to disclose it, like somebody in the inner circle, like Harry, Meghan, or one of their friends who know would have to disclose it, or the court might force disclosure if there was a legal dispute between them and the surrogate, right? So, under normal circumstances, no, we wouldn't really know if something like this had happened, except that we know that it didn't happen because it didn't happen, right? Now, so there's this woman who says she signed contracts and she was sworn to secrecy. And these claims are circulating on YouTube and other social media platforms. But this is not evidence, you guys. This is misinformation. I don't dare say this to Sussex Squad, but other people might listen to this video other than Sussex Squad. This is misinformation. It's not evidence, right? These are allegations without verified documentation and proof, right? And they're coming from anonymous or unverifiable sources, crazy women in their crazy o'clock era, right? Making these crazy allegations about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's children. These people thrive on attention and sensationalism. It's like that time when somebody said, something that Meghan had used on her show with Love Meghan had caused her to break out, and she gets all this coverage and all these radar online and all these papers. Totally preposterous, right? These people thrive on attention and sensationalism. And this is easily amplified by conspiracy communities that, proliferate in the online universe. I mean, it's just like if they don't have a conspiracy, they don't get clicks, they don't make money. You have to, and if they can't deliver that story with some degree of sensationalism and credibility, nobody's going to sign up to their channels. Only bots, sort of like my channel over here, right? Yeah, I have like thousands and thousands of bots. But listen, without legal filings and notarized contracts or court testimony, court orders, etc., as far as I'm concerned, these remain unsubstantiated claims by crazy people in their crazy o'clock eras, okay? For public understanding and for anybody who's easily gullible and who believes these conspiracy theories from these conspiracy communities that proliferate on the internet, in America, only under the surrogacy laws in America and in California in particular, because every state differs, as I said, only the parents' official registrations like birth certificates, passports, etc. matter, right? And Archie and Lilibet are listed in Meghan and Harry's children. And why? Because they are Meghan and Harry's children. They're Meghan and Harry's biological children. The other thing is like the racialized claims about the children's appearance, right? Where the idea is that Archie and Lilibet look too quote unquote white to be Meghan's biological children. This is just so ignorant and so deeply rooted in racist thinking, right? Genetics, as we all know, is incredibly complicated. It's very variable, right? So biracial, Meghan is biracial. She's not black, she's not white. She's biracial, okay? Or multiracial if you want. So biracial or multiracial parents can have children with a wide range of skin tones, hair types, and features. In fact, you could look completely, quote unquote, black or completely, quote unquote, white and come out with a child that looks totally your opposite because of genetics, right? It's incredibly complicated. Many people of mixed backgrounds do not easily show visible markers of their ancestral lines, right? So you could be looking at someone thinking, oh, this person is white or black, and they're not. True that the children from the back, because we haven't seen their faces, we don't know what their features look like, but from the back, they do look like, they're certainly the texture of their hair looks totally Caucasian, right? But again, people of mixed backgrounds don't always easily show visible markers of their ancestral lines, right? So to claim a child's parentage based solely on appearance, the texture of their hair, the skin shade or tone that they are, reflects like a racial bias, and it reduces someone's identity to skin color without taking into account all of their mixed background and their ancestors and their ancestral lines and, their racial heritage, right? This kind of narrative has long been used, as we all know, to question the legitimacy of, people of color, especially women, right? And as far as I'm concerned, it's a form of misogynoir, right? This intersection of misogyny and anti-black, female black racism, right? Now, so the twerking video. Well, I don't really want to even go into this too much because this video is going to be too long. But all of this sort of came about post the twerking video that Meghan did. And so, yeah, what do you think about this, you guys?